Welcome to the Heart of Donelson Hermitage podcast. My name is Troy Charlton. I'll be your host, as well as I'm a real estate agent in the state of Tennessee with eXp Realty. I'm excited about doing this podcast mainly because what I've seen inside of Nashville is wonderful people coming together to do incredible things. And nowhere is that more prevalent than right here in Donelson Hermitage. This is our first podcast, so please like and subscribe so that as we share more information and exciting things that are going on in this community, you don't miss out. For our first podcast, I could not personally think of a better example of that than the Women of Worth ministry that happens inside of Donelson Hermitage. And we have April with us today. So she's a counselor actually very much involved with this Women of Worth transition home situation. And I just wanted to first maybe give you an opportunity, share a little bit about yourself, how you got involved with Women of Worth. Just right off the bat, who are you?
Yeah, I'd be happy to say. So I'm April Ban. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Tennessee, and I use those skills at WOW for sure. I actually live here local in Donelson and love it so much. My family and I, we've been in Donelson for a decade now, and it feels like home for sure. At Women of Worth, I do therapy. I'm also our clinical program director, so I feel like I can tell you all the things about what we do around there. At Women of Worth, we have, and we'll probably talk about this, but we have 5 homes and they're all right here in Donelson. It is home to, just like it is to me and my family, Donelson is home to Women of Worth too.
Yeah, it is exciting. I do want to get into so much about what Women of Worth does and just highlight some of the women. We're going to get to a story that April's going to share, because I did ask her to prepare to share one story. I know she has many.
I could tell so many.
But just one story that we're going to get to in just a little bit about just one of these transformation of women that have come into this incredible program. But maybe what inspired you personally? I know, as your job and what you do in counseling,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe specifically Women of Worth. What drew you to Women of Worth?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. And I feel like the initial answer is, honestly, God picked this work for me. I did not expect to work with the reentry population and people coming out of addiction when I first got into therapy. But I have worked with this population for about 20 years. And the thing that continues to tug my heart to be active with this population of people is they're just regular people who got mixed up in some things. I remember sitting with the first woman who I'd ever met that was coming from incarceration, and I was meant to be her helper. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I can remember listening to her talk about how one decision led to the next thing. And then before she knew it, she was addicted to substances and in trouble with the law. And so what keeps me stuck to it is literally, even me and you, we're 1 or 2 decisions away from being right where they are. And I've noticed through the years, and literally every day at Women of Worth, it is relationships, it is meeting the right people in their lives. And so it's meaningful work. And it is also, in some ways, easy work to show up and just love on people. And, I'm trained, I know what I'm doing. So it's not just about, showing up and telling them, do a good job, but with the right kind of people in your life, you can get better.
Yeah. And I think we really see that through Women of Worth. Typically, help me on these statistics as far as incarceration and women and men that come out of prison, the percentage of those that go back.
Yeah, it's really high. For women in Tennessee, it fluctuates through the years, but it hangs out in the upper 70 or 80% of people will reoffend at some point or another. While in our program, the women who complete our program, it's like, around 15%. So it is a drastic difference on recidivism, which means, reoffending or being locked up again. We're making a difference.
Yeah, for sure. And we see that in the community. And we're going to talk about the community and how these women are a part of the community, and then how the community itself, outside of just your team of counselors and such that work directly with them, kind of come together to make a difference. Yeah. But before we get there, maybe share with those that are listening what it looks like in a week
Oh yeah.
of what
Yeah.
goes on in these women's
Yeah.
lives each week that really is making this difference?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that because they're busy. When a woman is in our program, so our program is 6 to 12 months, depending on how long a person needs to get back on their feet and, get reintegrated with their family and support system. When they come to us, we set a goal to have them employed within 2 weeks of arriving to us. So, literally day one, we start working with them on making sure they have clothing, making sure they, get to doctor's appointments. All that happens in the first 2 weeks. So once they get a job, they're working. We require that they work at least 32 hours a week. On top of that, our programming happens 3 nights a week. So we do therapy groups or recovery focus groups where we're talking about mental health and addiction on Monday nights. On Tuesday nights, they're in Bible study. And on Thursday nights, we do community meeting where sometimes those are fun activities, but other times it's teaching them to have conversations with the people in their house and deal with conflict and things like that. So 3 nights a week on top of working, at least most of them work more than 32, but on top of working. Then in addition to the evening program, they meet with a case manager at least once weekly. They get mental health counseling a couple times a month. It can be weekly if they need that. They also have a prayer partner that they're meeting with. We like for that to be once a week, and they're attending church as well. So, think about it as a working person yourself, on top of a full work week, to have all that programming, they're busy. But what we have found is they need to be really surrounded with all that support. It's not just the busyness. They also attend outside AA or NA meetings, 5 of those a week. Having that good support, especially just super concentrated for this period of time, really helps, one, to keep them out of trouble, but two, help them to get their focus back and meet some of their goals, like financial goals, and many of them are moms. And so, getting a place of their own is important for that next step for them. So they're busy.
Yeah. And that's so awesome. I think about the different aspects of, all of us as we grow up and the things we learn as we go, whether it be finances or how to be a dad or how to be a mom or how to work in the workplace and just get along with people. And so many times when some of those things are missing, and then you find yourself in a situation like these women do, it is hard to get back out and to get your feet grounded before you get back into society and doing all that together. So having that support around is just incredible. And you guys do that so well. But I know you lean heavy on the community. I know you lean heavy on some groups and people. And we're going to, at the end, share with how people can be involved, because I think as you hear these stories and you listen to what women have worked to do, you're going to want to be involved. And so before we talk about that, maybe some of the volunteers, what are some ways that different people volunteer, groups volunteer to make this work as well?
Yeah, we lean on community so much. The churches in Donelson and Hermitage have been remarkable. I mentioned, we have 5 houses, and that has grown drastically in the last 5 years. In 2020, we were 1 house serving 5 women, and now we are 5 houses serving 26 women. And so we wouldn't, I feel like I can say, even for all of us, we wouldn't have put down those roots and grown in such a large way in this area if it weren't for the support that we have received from the community. Many of the churches have supported us financially, but also sending boots on the ground to do things like cleaning homes when we were moving furniture in, putting sheets on beds, gathering supplies. Like when women come to us, they literally have nothing. And so when they get there, we like to make sure that they have clean socks and underwear, clean, and clothing and soap and just all this stuff, pillows, things that we may all take for granted. So the churches in the area have done a good job of gathering things for us. Our Tuesday night Bible studies are led by volunteers. Some of those are just individuals who, want to share in that way. And some of them are women's groups from churches. We also have people who will come out, men who have come out and done yard work for us. I mean, we have someone who cuts the grass, but like every now and then you got to cut down some stuff that's grown. That's not in our skill set.
Yeah.
So we have men who've come out and done some projects like that for us. And we'll probably get to this part, but also in this community, one of the things that has just been remarkable is the businesses being willing to hire our ladies. I told you we had that goal of getting them employed within 2 weeks. We cannot do that on our own.
Yeah.
And most of our women, I mean, I'm thinking about all of the ones that we have right now, they're employed up and down Lebanon Pike right here.
Yeah.
Some of them probably served you coffee or barbecue because the employers in this area have really made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. And those are stories that I hear about a lot. And so it's just reminder when you're out eating at some of these restaurants and you run into these women, tip well.
That's right.
I know they would appreciate that.
Yes.
But it is exciting to see that. I know one of the things that I've been fortunate to be a part of is, I call it graduation. That might not be the right word, but
we have one tonight actually. We call it transition ceremony.
Okay, transition ceremony. And as the women graduate and transition through the program, many times these employees show up,
Yes, they do.
and these people that have been a part of these women's lives throughout the process, and they show up with, big gifts. And really it's sometimes, these women, as they graduate, they go back to another place. They go to their, and so it's kind of an emotional time of a goodbye in a sense of, they're no longer going to be able to work there. But it's just so cool to see those events. Another event that you just recently had was definitely, I guess it was a fundraiser, but really I think of awareness, where a lot of people came together and heard so many stories from these women directly. It was just so cool to just hear them get up on stage and speak. They also wrote a song.
They did.
I mean, that was incredible.
It's so good. It's a legitimately good song.
Yeah, and if I can find it, it might be in the show links. If I can find a way, if it's out there somewhere, if you want to hear the song that they actually wrote, and it is awesome. But so many things that they do, and we got to hear about that night. But I know, as I've kind of prepped you, I know there's so many stories that you could share.
Yeah.
But maybe just one in particular of a lady that has just inspired you to really, again, go day to day and really every morning want to wake up and be a part of what you do.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's so hard to just to funnel it down to one. But this morning when I was, thinking about this conversation, there is one in particular who came to mind, and we actually highlighted her on the video at the event that you were at recently. And her name's Brittany. I won't go into all of her details, but one thing I will say is when she released from incarceration and came to us, because of some things, she was not able to have access to her children. And just through hard work and dedication, she showed up every day. She's now reunified with her kids and living day in and day out with them, attending school events and knowing the ins and outs of their day. And we got to be a part of that. I got to be a part of that by being her therapist and, working through just her working on herself. And, but at WOW, we got to be a part of it by being a safe place for her while she was getting her feet back underneath of her and, saving money and working and all of that. I will show up every single day if it means helping a mom get back with her kids, So she is definitely one that we're so proud of. And I'll say there are so many stories. And one of the things that we're super proud of right now is we just opened an alumni house. That's actually our 5th house, and which about that one. You kind of helped connect us with that. It's for women who are living as roommates, really just, do in life.
Yeah.
And that's something that many of them have not had the opportunity to do. We have one gal who just moved in there, and it was between moving in there or moving in with her boyfriend. And, it's never our choice to make for them, but we do offer a lot of suggestions. And she made the decision to move in there to, for the first time ever, be independent. And, she's got that safety net, but she's paying her own bills. She is getting herself to and from work. So, she's another one that is it is a baby step to choose to live with roommates as opposed to moving in with a boyfriend. but it's really huge because she's never had a place that she's paid her own bills. So I'd say she's a success story too, you know?
Yeah. And again, so many of those, we could do a whole nother podcast for hours just hearing all those stories, and I would love to hear them all. But I think as I listen to these stories and the other stories that I know about, the word that just kind of resonates with me is redemption.
Absolutely.
And I know it's something that you talk about a lot as well. What does that word mean to you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, I can't think about redemption without thinking about Jesus. And that's one thing at WOW we talk about. You know, we do receive funding from a lot of different places, but we're unapologetic about the fact that we follow Jesus. And if it means that we cannot, you know, receive certain funding, we will turn that down, because really without the help of the Lord, it is not possible for me to show up and do the work, or for our women. And so when I think about redemption, I think about, you know, freedom and new life, and not being held back because of decisions from the past. You know, with our women, all of them have many things, and us too, truthfully, me too.
Sure.
We have stuff that could keep us from living our best lives. And redemption to me looks like there is a chance to put all of that aside and move forward and live in freedom and have hope. Yeah.
No, it is that the redemption, again, just resonates with me, yes, because of Jesus, you know, but for God and his grace and mercy, you know, and so I think about the opportunity that he gives me through his grace. And as we encounter these women and have the opportunity, and I see the ministry that you do, and as we kind of, at this point, kind of bring things to a close and invite the community to be involved, one of the ways I think they can be involved, first of all, is to realize redemption. You know, as you see these women and provide opportunities for them for a second chance, because it is hard to come out of prison and get grounded and have the opportunities to move forward in life. You talk about these ladies that are now living in this second home, because it's hard to get out and get rent. It's hard to, you got credit, you've got, and it's expensive to live in Nashville, as we all know. So there's a lot of those things. So if you own homes, you know, as these women come out, definitely connect with Women of Worth if you have a place that they could potentially rent, because they need that opportunity sometimes when their credit score isn't 800 yet, but they do have, and they have now grounded themselves through this program that you guys have run them through. They are incredible women ready to do great things.
Well, and to that point too, I'll say, you know, we can't control what people decide to do, but we do hold them accountable. And even after they have completed our program, any woman who has come through our program gets to stay connected. We say once WOW, always WOW. And so we have a case manager that follows our alumni. So if there is someone who is like, I'm willing to take a chance on, you know, someone through their program and rent out this, you know, this apartment or this whatever, we are still in their corner, and we are still like, hey, you paying your bills, you got to go to work. So it's not like we can't control what they do, but we're their call home even when they get out on their own. I think too, something you made me think about, those two success stories that I was telling you, they are both thriving in their jobs. One of them in a management position, and that happens with a lot of our ladies. They'll get into a job and they're just hard workers. And so before you know it, they're shift lead or store manager. And that's something that I wish everyone knew, you know, just because someone's coming from, you know, maybe they're coming from incarceration. It might be easy to think like, oh, I don't know about, you know, but they are workers. And like I said, like as evidenced by, they end up, you know, being in charge. And they are in a lot of establishments around here.
And you just see, as I've seen in different places, you see their confidence building as they go through the program, as you see them in different places. And it's awesome. So to the Donelson Hermitage community, specifically, obviously pray for these 28 plus women. We can definitely do that. But maybe specifically, what are some needs? Maybe businesses that might have opportunity for employment, housing, prayer partners. What are, maybe kind of go through a quick list.
Yeah, like how to get involved.
Sure.
Definitely will take your time and energy. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities. Like you mentioned, prayer partners. That's something every woman gets, a prayer partner. It's just their person to sit with, pray with them, check up on them. Transportation is one that we run up against sometimes. And so if your church has a van that would be willing to come and drive people to church, that is one that is needed. Also, I mentioned some stuff like helping with the practical needs around the house, like some, this or that needs to be done outside. Those are needs. But also stuff that, if there are resources that people may have, like toilet paper, 26 people, they do eventually, when they're working, the women contribute to the house needs, but, they're starting from scratch. And so if anyone ever wanted to run a drive for like toilet paper, feminine products, even we like to give new towels and pillows and stuff like that on the front end. And so we had a coffee shop in the area ran a blanket drive for us not that long ago. So things like that, everything that when you sit around your home and you're like, well, I have this and I have that, they need that too. And so do we. We also, we feed them and they grocery shop. And so if you have excess food or the ability to give gift cards to Kroger and stuff like that, that is a huge need for our ladies. Energy, time and energy, financial resources, we believe we have been able to be successful because it has been a community effort. Hands down, people have shown up and carried the load. Our team is small. We couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. And as it continues to grow, I know somebody that sees success in what you are doing. I'm like, well, let's do it twice. Let's do it twice as much. But again, I know how concentrated you are on doing it well. And so I think you're at a point where the success is so good. It's so fun to watch and see the community getting involved. It's exciting. So I just want to thank you for being here.
Yeah.
We are going to, in the show notes, have where and how you can contact Women of Worth. So if you do have any type of, definitely follow them on socials. Yeah. Go to their website. You'll see all that in the show notes. So if you have any questions, you can reach out directly to them or me as well. Again, April, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And really, to anyone, especially in the Donelson Hermitage area that listens, we're so grateful. We have been welcomed with open arms, and we have a goal at WOW to give back. So Christy and I both have been with WOW now for 5 years, and we've been stabilizing and putting our feet underneath us. And now as we look ahead, a goal that we have is to us and the women in our program to serve the Donelson Hermitage community too. So I guess I extend that also, like if there are anyone that listens, if there are service projects that our gals can get involved with, we want that too. We believe you keep what you have by giving it away. And so we do need, love and support from people, but we also have something to give too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.